Here we are.
Another wash and talk.
Another wash and talk. Something a little bit different today though, isn't it?
I'm super excited to try this. You've been raving about this for the last 3 washes, 4 washes?
I've done a couple. I've tried out the process. So today we're going to do a ONR rinseless wash.
I've never done one of these before. I always drag the pressure washer out, which we've done today, but I've never done a wash that, actually, I take that back. Back in the day, I used to do the detail spray wipe down. So if it's similar to the detail spray wipe down, yeah. I've been there, done that.
Yeah, the old the wipe down, when you got a little bit of dust on the car, you do a little wipe down and scratch
it. Yeah, with Maguire's Ultimate Quick Wax.
Oh, no.
And one cloth.
We're definitely not doing that today. We're doing an ONR wash. I don't know much about the product, but what I'm using this product for is working through a bit of a process to see if we actually like this. I think for me, the ONR rinseless wash is the one that I think we're going to aim for and try it, and probably be the product that we're going to use here. So I'm just doing this as testing it out and showing you the process and working through a couple of ideas. So this isn't the perfect setup. This is something in progress. Yep. And we're going to try it out.
So we've got it set up in 1 bucket today. So it's a little bit different to obviously the normal process where we end up dragging 3 buckets out. But we've got about 18 litres of water in the Yeti bucket here. How many cloths have you got in there?
So I think there's 8 or so cloths in there, or microfiber in there. It's diluted
256 to 1?
256 to 1.
Yeah, so it's about 70 millilitres in the bucket.
Give or take.
Then you're filled up.
And that's really key. So when you're doing these rinseless washing type processes, it's really key to make sure that you get your dilutions as close as you can. This isn't just dash a bit and then go, oh, yep, it's all good. The key to this working is the dilution ratio.
Well, 256 to 1 as well. You've got to be pretty precise, right? You can't guess that.
And so, yes, this is a rinseless wash. That means that you don't do a rinse at the end.
Okay.
But what we're going to do is we're going to pre-rinse the vehicle at the beginning, get off bits of dirt and dust, and just get the vehicle wet. This car's pretty clean. Yep. There's not much on here.
It's been about 2 weeks since the last full wash. This is not to be confused with a waterless wash, right?
Wash, no.
Which is where you wouldn't do your pre-rinse.
Yep.
Yep. And then,
well, you don't have to pre-rinse this either.
Okay. So why are we pre-rinsing? What do you pre-rinse?
I don't know, makes me feel better.
Yeah? Just to blow off
Just to blow off any stuff, yep. We're not going to do the wheels at the beginning, we'll do them at the end.
Yeah, wheels are really tidy anyway.
And so pre-rinse the vehicle, and then we've got, what I do is once we've made our dilution in here, I just dunk this bottle in here, fill it up, and this is what we're going to use to pre-soak the vehicle down with, and then we'll wipe it with our cloth.
Okay, so first step, we'll rinse it down.
Yep.
Let's do it. Okay, treat me like a beginner. What do I do?
Treat you like a beginner. Right, so you want to grab the bottle of solution in there, so of your rinseless wash. Yep. And that's diluted 256 to 1. Okay. And you want to pre-soak a section of the vehicle.
Okay, section.
Yeah, I think so. I think you want to pre-soak the section, so maybe do...
Well, should we start with the roof?
Yeah, do the roof. So pre-soak the whole roof. And I think you want to wash top down, exactly like we would when we have our soap and water. We always wash with the roof, and then we get further and further down. Okay. So that's going to pre-soak it.
Okay, the first thing I can tell you is I'm going to get a sore arm doing this. This is like a Tarex or an Iron X.
Yeah. So what I would like in this process is I would like something like a IK sprayer.
You need something with like a almost a
like a pump sprayer.
Yeah, pump sprayer or something electric or something.
So that pump sprayer had that solution there so that you could then spray on there. And I definitely want to get an IK sprayer because I want to use it for this process. And I think it's also handy to have when we're doing detail series where we're using our Iron X Tarex and stuff.
Definitely, because that's a pain.
Pre-soaked?
Right off the bat. Yep.
So now we have our microfiber in here. And we've got 8 towels. These aren't specifically for rinseless washing.
These are just some soft towels.
These are just 8 microfiber that I had at home that I haven't really got a purpose for, and I wanted to try them on. These are all from the microfiber, so they're all very different in here.
Do I wring it out?
So you want it so that this is soaked quite a lot with water.
That's
I think
heavy.
You want it so that it's got a little bit of moisture, like a little bit of water left in it.
So you wring it out.
You don't want to wring it. You don't want to wring it out completely dry, but you want it so that if you squeeze again, there's a little bit of water in there. Okay. Fold that into your 8 sides. So you got 8 sides of towel.
Yep. Cool. Yep.
And now start at the top. So I would start here, and you just want to wipe a section, flip the towel, wipe a section.
I guess we're glass here, right? So I can do.
You can do a bit of a section here. Yeah.
Okay.
So wipe your section. You don't want to push too hard. Flip the towel like you did. Wipe a section. Yeah, and you want to open it out and use another side. So you've got 8 sides on this towel.
So we're trying really to glide this across the, this is not the paint, the glass, but the paint of the car, right? You're gliding it, you're not pushing it into the paint.
So the problem with these towels is you lose where you are with your 8 sides.
Yeah.
So there is a process that I got in my head about how I remember where I'm at the 8 sides. There's a couple of towels in here which I do quite like that are coloured on one side and you know, well, coloured on both sides, but the colours are different, so that you know, well, I've used the 4 sides of this towel on this side, and then, so I think that's something to keep in mind.
And it's probably something you don't need to really worry about on your glass, right? But when you're getting to your paint, you want to be quite critical with it.
Yeah, and I think you want a towel that's quite soft, that's got a decent amount of size, and we just haven't quite got there yet, but it's processing and developing, right?
Yeah.
So now once you've used the 8 sides of that towel, that's it. You don't put that towel anywhere else.
Okay, so what do I do with it? It's not going back in the bucket, it's just going inside.
Yep, so you can rinse it out and just chuck it inside, ready to be washed.
Yeah.
Now there is a couple of different things that people use. Sometimes people use a sponge here, and I definitely know that the videos related to ONRs, they use that big red sponge, and what you can do is you can dip it back in there and you can grab your sponge again.
Can I move to my next stage now?
You can move to the next stage.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So now you pre-rinse another section.
Yep.
Or not pre-rinse, but pre-soak another section. So I don't know if you want to do all the side glass or whatever.
Yeah, maybe the side glass, and can I do...
So this is where I'm a little bit
do?
confused. This is what I'm not sure. Do we rinse the car?
Yep.
Do we then pre-soak a section?
Yep.
Wash a section and then dry a section?
Or go around doing what we're doing right now and then dry the whole thing?
Whole thing off.
Do you think right now I could spray the doors as well? How long?
So you could decide, you could probably decide I want to do this section.
Okay, well I've done
and then I want to do this section.
I've done the glass, right? So I'll work on that, but I will use the same towel to do the glass. I'll probably work all the glass and then leave myself with the paint.
So I think for me, what I would like to do is I'd like to clean the roof, dry the roof. Clean the glass, dry the glass.
So work really organised.
Yeah, because you're not re-rinsing this again. And so as you work around that now, there's a bit of science behind this type of, the chemical makeup of this, right? So typically what happens is you have soap and water, yeah?
Yep. I've done all the glass actually. I'm around the other side.
What we do is with our soap and water, we foam the car down. And what that soap and water does is that soap's becoming an emulsifier. And through the process of emulsification, what it does is it breaks down the dirt particles into smaller dirt particles.
Okay.
And I'm no chemist, I'm no smart person here, I don't really know too much about this, but my simple understanding of the process of emulsification is what happens is you got soap that allows dirt to bind, water to bind, and allow you to wipe it off in your mitt.
Okay.
That's my real basic understanding. Now, if I'm wrong, and if I'm not quite right, you can drop a comment, talk to me about it. I'm happy about that because I really want to learn about this. So, in that process, you got the dirt being broken down, smaller particles, allows water to bind so that you can move it with your mitt, yeah?
Okay.
As you then move that with the mitt, you're moving the dirt particle across the surface.
Yep.
There's no encapsulation or anything like that. You're moving across, which gives you the probability of adding scratches.
Should I be able to see anything? Like visibly see this encapsulation?
No, I don't think so. It puts it into my cells, which is really quite...
Okay.
Well, I don't know.
Not a visible thing. And from your experience with it and your research, should I be letting this dwell for a period of time before I start wiping it?
Not that I'm aware of, but probably.
Okay.
Because what this does is this does the emulsification.
Yep.
So it breaks the dirt down into smaller particles.
Okay.
But it does this process called zwitterionic, which I can't really pronounce that word either. But what it does is so emulsification plus zwitterionic means that it encapsulates the dirt particle.
Yep.
It lifts it off the surface, so that dirt is now off the surface of the paint. Now when you come across with your towel, you're just taking that off the top.
Okay, so it's basically helped lift it to the surface.
Yep, so it's broken it down, plus it's lifted it to the surface, encapsulated. There is now no risk
of scratching.
Well, yeah, so they say. So
minimal risk versus dry wiping this or spraying something on it that's not formulation.
Versus the emulsification with the soap is that there is no encapsulation, there's no lifting it off, and that zwitterionic process allows some weird ionic bonding or some ionic stuff where polar opposites or something weird like that, I don't know, that pulls it off the surface basically. And so that's why they say this is now safe.
It's interesting, right? So I guess that's why you won't want to keep moving around with that towel.
Yeah, so that's why you got your 8 sides and you want to just do that section, like you want to do like a section like this, right?
Yep.
Section, flip, section, flip, section, flip. Yeah?
Yeah, so I probably should have broken it down into more on those doors.
Yeah, and so that's why they say that this is definitely safer.
Okay.
At the same time, there's a couple of cool things that happen with this chemical is that It's safer because it's doing those two processes than soap and water. It's also leaving, and it sort of bounds it up into like a polymer. So what it's doing is it's leaving these sort of, I think it's polymers on the surface. So now what happens is that if this was to dry a little bit, it only leaves little polymer residues on the paint.
Okay.
At the same time, it's also a water softener. So it's softened all the water in here and it's softening all the water on here, so you can't get water spots.
So this is a product as well, just from my experience using this for a little bit now, that we could be using inside. You could rinse outside. If you were in the middle of the day, right, you could quickly get your rinse in, take your car back inside and do this process inside without the risk of water spots.
You could just pre-soak. And that's,
gotcha.
what people are doing, right? Like in the US and stuff, where water freezes over. Where water freezes over, what happens is there's no running water, so they're just doing this wash through the winter period.
So you could do a pre-soak of this, and this is actually a better towel because you've got two different colours.
So, and that's a rag company towel that is slightly designed for waterless or rinseless washing. So not only is it leaving polymers behind, and it's safer for the paint, and it's a water softener, and it's actually doing encapsulation plus emulsification. What also is happening is, I don't know what else is happening. It's softening the water so you can't get the water spots. There's something else that does. Oh, and it's leaving a lot of lubrication behind on the surface. So I don't know if you noticed, but what happens is when you use water as your main thing to clean the car, that doesn't leave anything behind. It's just leaving plain water. So then when you now come to dry the vehicle, what you have to do is you have to use, well, you don't have to, but you use a drying aid to provide that lubrication so that when you rub your microfiber over the top, you reduce the scratching. This has already left something behind. This has already left polymers on it. This is already safe. This has already left some slickness.
So it's safer than just rinsing your car off and then bringing
well, at the end, you've got nothing. So if you did soap and water and you rinse the car, you got supposedly nothing on the surface.
Okay, that makes sense.
So now when you come to dry your car, if you were just to wipe that with a microfiber, you're going to scratch it. That's why we use a drying aid. To help provide lubrication so that the towel isn't inducing scratch, because it's at the point when you're drying your vehicle where you're introducing the most scratches.
Your drying stage.
So this is leaving that polymer behind, or whatever it leaves behind, so that it's now safe. So you could actually grab your towel now and dry it and not have to put anything behind. So because this is not a soap, right? So you're not actually leaving anything behind. You're not leaving it, so soap can produce residue. And what we kind of found with using our PNS Pearl in a hot climate, it leaves soap residue, and you get this spider mark.
Scum.
It's like scum.
Scum, yeah.
So this isn't soap, so you're going to have no residue left behind, which is another nice positive. And because it's not a soap, no residue, you could use this as a mild interior cleaner. You could put this in your carpet extractor to use carpet cleaning. And I got these little uses off the Rag Company channel where they talked about this. So it has a bunch of, I think they even say you can use the glass cleaner if you want.
So have you let this dry and actually seen the effects of that?
So this is where I'm at. So see how now you've done, we'll be able to see this because we haven't, so on the glass here, what happened is you've let it dry. These little dots here will become little polymers. They'll look like little dust spots. And they will just wipe straight off. So when you do this for the first time, you're like, oh no, I've got water spots all over the car, but they just wipe straight off.
So through that drying aid process, you'll be fine. So you couldn't just let this...
Well, sometimes it can be a bit hard to remove those. So that's why I'm torn. Do you do the whole process, clean the car and then dry, or do you dry as you go? And I think I like dry as we go.
Okay, so here's another question that you may not have the answer to. If you were using deionized water right now, do you think that you could then, and I'm talking deionized in the bucket as well, the rinse?
Well, you don't need to use it in the bucket because it's a water softener already. So it softens the hard water.
But what I'm trying to get at is, what about someone who doesn't want to go and dry their car?
So if you didn't want to dry your car now, you can just wipe it straight off, or you're not going to get water spots on here because it's softened the water.
So I do need to dry it some way.
Yes, I think so. We need to remove all this stuff. The thing where you could have a positive effect using a deionizer is that if you pre-rinse the car like we did at the beginning, if any of that water dried on the surface before you did your pre-soak, you could probably get water spots then. As soon as you got this product on here, I think you're good to go. I don't think you'll get water spots. I could be wrong, but who knows. So how do you...
we don't really want to risk, right? Don't want to try that.
So how do you like it so far? What do you think? It seems weird, right?
So
this process is really strange. It seems unusual.
It's really simple. I'd like to be inside. Like, I think what I like about it is not that I'd like to be inside, but the fact that I could be inside.
Yeah.
So we could be inside the garage right now. I could have my air conditioning on. I could have my music on.
Yeah.
And I don't need to be working out in the heat, right?
Yeah.
I can pull the car out, I can rinse it off, and then move inside. I really like that idea.
Good. Yeah.
I like the idea that there is a potential that I could do this without having to drag out the pressure washer. Now, that's not what we're doing today, but I like that there is an option to then take one step further and go complete waterless with this. Probably a bit riskier.
So the other day it was raining and I still cleaned the car inside because I did a waterless wash.
Well, there's your benefit, right? You can work inside with this product.
The other good thing is that because it's got that zero ionic thing, what happens here is if you were to put your sponge back in here, or your dirty towel back in here, which you probably don't want to put back in the bucket anyway if you're doing towels, is that it will pull all the dirt out of the sponge, and it will pull it right to the bottom of the bucket, so you don't really need a grit guard.
Okay, and we're not using a grit guard today.
We don't have a grit guard in here because we're not putting dirty back in here.
Okay.
But it has that ability to draw all the dirt out and put it right to the bottom of the bucket, so that's also another safe option.
So that's why you took the grit guard out earlier?
Yeah. Now, the other thing is you cannot use this in a foam cannon, right? So you're not going to get beautiful suds.
Yeah.
And you can tell here, we do have a little bit of suds on the top of the bucket here, but this kills suds. Okay? This product kills suds in the water.
So you're not trying to get a really
sudsy bucket. So you're not going to get any foam either. And that's probably about the extent of my knowledge.
I've got 2 towels left.
So I think you've probably mucked up the 8-side thing.
Yeah? You calling me a bit simple?
let me show you. Let me show you. So I think we also have been very terrible at doing 8-side technique when we're doing polishing,
coating,
So 8 sides, there we go, fold it into 4, so we do have 8 sides, yeah?
Yeah, so 1, 2.
So 1, 2 flip, that's easy.
Yeah.
Now what I think you want to do is unfold it to here, refold it.
The other way?
1, 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Then go, okay, I've done 4, completely unfold it.
And start again.
Flip it again.
Yeah, to be honest, I think I'm using 4 sides.
1, 2, and then open it up, half of it.
Back that way.
Flip that way, 1, 2.
Yeah, because I think I was going here, fold 1, 2, and then unfold 3, 4.
So you were only using
turning
half
my
of
8 into
And
4.
I think, so I think this teaches you that fold, because I think you have to think about it, and you'll have to think about it for a few cars, and then you can go, right, now I know. And you're right, I think it improves our technique. For everything else, we were using 8 sides.
So now,
open
unfold
it up,
and go the other way.
Go the other way. Back to 8 sides.
I don't mind this towel because this is quite heavy, so I can just drag it along the paint.
Yeah, that towel does feel quite rough though. So I'm really keen to try the, I think it's called Minx.
Okay, is that a Rag Company
towel? A Rag Company towel, yeah, it's the purple towel, and that's their towel that they also recommend for this.
Okay. Have to give that a go.
So I think some downsides to this product. Well, straight away, things like bugs and stuff, you could try and pressure wash off at the beginning. You could then try and get it off again with the wipe, and you probably could try again to get it off with your detail spray. I don't think you get the car completely clean.
No, but saying the same thing, right, with if you were, not saying the same thing, but if we were using a mitt, right, how is it any different to doing this to get that bug out? Yeah. We're just scrubbing harder with the mitt.
Yeah, and what I mean by you don't get it totally clean is you're not going to do wheel wells. You're not necessarily going to do barrels. You're also going to struggle to get, I feel like the surface of the paint just isn't quite clean enough.
Yeah, but wheel wells, you're rinsing them out through the rinse process. You sometimes scrub them while you're doing your wheel process. I think we're going to end up doing a hybrid here. Yeah. I think the hybrid's going to be as the normal wheel wash process, followed by this process. And the reason why I think that is this is definitely a safer washing technique. Yeah. It provides so much lubrication to the surface. Yeah. So I think in that Rag Company video, they said that if soap had a lubrication of 2, this has a lubrication of 10. Okay, so way safer, on that stat. Way more lubrication, no risk of water spots, limits your risk of scratching, and you can do it in a nice sunny condition. You can do it in your garage.
So I think the pros probably outweigh the cons, but this is this technology doesn't quite make sense, right? It just doesn't quite feel right.
It's a bit odd.
And I definitely felt the same when I was learning about this and when I was using it. I was like, oh, I don't know. I think it has its place.
Yep.
It's not all the time. I also think the old foam cannon wash has its place. It's not all the time. I like to dip in and out, I think.
I like the idea of doing this when the car's relatively clean and in between wash.
Well, the car doesn't have to be clean. So on the rag company, they got this truck.
But I feel better when it's clean.
And it was filthy. It had soap everywhere. They
That
cleaned
was
the
that
wheels.
Ford F-150 or F-350, whatever it was.
And they cleaned the whole thing and they said, this doesn't have to be clean.
Yep.
And I sort of get that based on a little bit of the science behind this product.
I guess the dirtier the car, right, the more towels you want to use and the more frequently you want to flip them. But doing something like this, when it is relatively clean already, you can probably be a bit quicker, flip your towels less, no stress really.
So I think just looking at the roof here, I don't think we're going to be able to show, but what happens is when these little droplets here dry, actually there's some just there, you can see those little dust particles, those little polymer spots, a couple there and there. You get your dry, actually, yeah, we do see them. I don't know if you pick it up on camera, but they look like water spots.
Yeah.
So if you did your old soap wash, you go, oh no,
I've got water spots everywhere.
Yep. Not going to come off. These here will just wipe off with your drying aid.
Okay.
And actually, you could just get a towel now and wipe it off. You could.
Okay. Well, we're finished with the ONR process, so we can just get our drying aid now and we just start our normal process.
Yeah. So how did you find it? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that this is something I'd do again, especially because of the fact that I can then pull the car in the garage. So I can do this in the middle of the day. And that's quite convenient, right? Because there's a small window where we can wash the car outside based on the sun.
Yeah, and the direction of your house and stuff.
Exactly. So I think it opens up a whole new, I guess, time frame where you can wash your car. You can do it in the middle of the day. I can do it in the morning now if I was doing this process. And I think it's a lot more comfortable because of the fact that you can do this inside. Like,
well, you're not made a mess. Well, you got a little bit of water.
No. Yeah,
usually you get soap all down here.
Yep. So going into the soapy bucket, you
no foam cannon to clean now.
No. One bucket to clean out.
One bucket clean out.
Yep.
The mitts and stuff. Well, you've just got the towels. They just go straight in the wash. You just use your microfiber cleaning agent.
Something about this, I don't feel as sweaty and hot.
Yeah.
I think it's probably because I rush more when I'm doing.
Well, you're chasing water spots.
I am.
You're chasing the sun.
So I feel like I've taken more time to do this.
Yeah.
But I don't actually think it's taken that much longer. I just feel maybe I'm a bit more calm while I'm doing this because I'm not trying to chase that, And I think
we've got 8 towels in there.
Yeah.
I think that's probably about your minimum.
Yeah, what do we got? We got 1 left.
Well, you need to do door jams now.
Yeah, I do.
So I think minimum you want 8. I think you probably want 10 to feel good, but more the better. And I think you want to try and get something that's maybe got 2 colours, different sides while you're learning. But microfiber is key. I definitely think you want a good microfiber. And you can't use too much pre-soak. I think pre-soak, I usually use the whole bottle of pre-soak. I think you might have undone it a little bit.
Yeah, I've used, what have we got in there? We've literally used 500 mils.
You've kind of put it on like Bean Maker. I think you can really get it and soak the surface down.
Yeah.
And maybe, let it dwell for a little bit just to help that encapsulation.
Okay, so maybe slow down a little bit more.
I think so. I think you can use more product. It's cheap as chips too. So 256 to 1 dilution, I mean...
Well, you're not spraying a bottle of Bean Maker here, are you?
No.
It's pretty simple. It's actually quite interesting to see what it's doing in the door jam areas here, because the door jams are really dirty. And on the white car, you can actually see what it's doing with the
So
dirt.
it should encapsulate it, and you should see that dirt run off. Shall I bring the camera up?
Yeah, bring the camera around. Show the jams.
So here's all that dirt and grime and stuff. And you can see, like that spot there, what's happened is you can see where it's run down the side there, and it's all encapsulated. It's like in a little bubble. And so that's protected, that's lifted it off the surface, and now it's ready for you just to wipe off. Look at that. Come back, flip your towel. Wipe again, and you can see all that dirt probably in that cloth, can you? In that microfiber.
Yeah, look at that.
Well, it's hard to pick up.
I can see it. On camera, maybe a little bit more difficult. Pretty easy.
And so on the top here, I'll try real hard to show you some. We're not going to see anything, but there is a couple of these little spots here. There's a couple of spots just in and around this sort of area just here. There's a couple up here, and what happens is those are just little polymer spots, and they'll just wipe straight off when you come to use your drying aid. So I think I have had instances where those little water spots or those little polymer spots have been pretty hard to remove. You want to rub it a little bit more.
Yep.
I don't know how you feel, but do you feel like you could be more confident doing the roof, drying it? Doing the panel, drying it. Do the next panel, drying it.
Yeah, I think so. I think...
You probably got to try both and see.
Yeah, I feel like it might be even tougher to stay organised doing that. I'm not too sure. I'd need to try that process and then compare notes after doing it.
The only thing I can see is that if you had pre-rinsed the vehicle with non-deionized water,
Yep.
and you went and did the roof, and you sprayed your product, you sprayed your ONR on the roof,
Yep.
then you dried it, then you did the door panel and you dried it. When you get around to the other side of the car, there's potential that the sun has baked the water, dried it out,
Yep.
produced water spots. Whereas
Correct.
if you had pre-rinsed the car,
And
pre-soaked the whole thing,
Yeah.
and then did your spot, it's probably a little bit safer.
Yeah, less risk.
So I think you need deionized water for your pre-rinse.
Yep.
So that's water safe. Then I think you pre-rinse a section, wipe dry, pre-rinse a section, because that's what I did when I didn't do the pre-rinse in the car in the garage.
Yep.
I just soaked a little section down with my waterless wash.
And did the whole process on that section of the car. Yeah, okay, well I'm going to try that next time, and then at least we can compare some notes and work out how this goes. You know, one of the things that I'm enjoying right now is not rushing to try and dry the car. Because I feel like the car's far less wet than what it would be. Well, it is, right? Because if I've washed the car, then I've done a final rinse on it, I basically got to the starting stage again, and the whole car is absolutely soaked.
Well, that's why we're not going to rinse here.
Yep.
The car's already got the polymers on it. It's already got that lubrication. It's already safe. It's ready now for you to dry, or add your drying aid, because that's going to add your gloss and the cool slickness and complete the surface, and it's going to smell nice, and we're going to get that sort of whole experience. And with our drying aid as we dry.
Well, let's grab our drying aid, which is Bead Maker, and I've got some new towels. They're not actually new towels,
Ooh.
but be a new size for you to try out. And I've enjoyed it. The
You didn't tell me about
I've
this.
done
This is
so
a
far.
little secret.
Oh no, they've been here for a little while. I've used them for a bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, let me go grab them.
Okay. So these little polymer spots are just wiping straight off, but you can definitely feel there's areas of the car that haven't been completely clean, and that's why I think you need to do this as an alternative.
Well, it's quite interesting. I thought the window was quite water spotted up, and yes, there are some water spots on it, but they were just exactly what you're talking about, these polymers.
Yeah, they just wipe straight off.
Wipe straight off.
So these are the new towels. We have used these a bit before. This is a smaller size.
Yeah, these are the Rag Company
Gauntlet?
Gauntlet towels in the smaller size.
It's like a shave, right? So one side shaved. It's like a shave on there and shave there and then long on that side.
These nice
towels are the best towels for drying, I reckon. And you got the bigger size for drying cars that have been decontaminated and stuff.
Well, I've gone for the, I bought the biggest size of this towel. Is this called Dry Me a River? Or
No.
No, it's Gauntlet. It's a different towel. I've gone for the biggest size for uncoated cars.
Yeah.
Because you can drag it across the paint, which is really good. And then the smaller towels for this, because I like the way that they don't fold over. When we've been using the bigger towels,
Those
they fold
orange
and they
towels,
bunch.
they pull up, those twist
do.
loop towels. I think this size is perfect for wheels,
Yep.
because I put Bead Maker on my wheels and dry my wheels. And so I would then use the next size up to dry the car. Whereas you don't really dry wheels, you don't really do anything with your wheels.
Well, the wheels
you don't
on
even
this,
clean your wheels.
Actually, in the past, I haven't really bothered bead makering wheels. I've just relied on the coating. On this, with no brake dust, there's just no need for me to do it.
Yeah, so that's why you're
I
using
don't.
this size to dry.
Yep, correct, because
And-
there's no wheel towel. I do still have some wheel towels around in case I do want to clean them.
Yeah.
But it's just not something I do regularly, so it's not important to me.
And so we were going to clean the wheels, but you've decided we're not going to do the wheels because these don't really build up any brake dust, so you don't really need to do them. And
Yeah, well,
we just wanted to show this process basically and have a yarn about it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to teach you the process and not necessarily convince you, but show it to you, and it's up to you whether or not you want to do it.
So the only question I've got, if I was doing your car right now with brake dust, what would you do differently?
Where have you dried up?
All of that already.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah, cheers.
Nice one. So
I'll do to the OG, you start from EV.
what have I done differently?
Yeah. With your wheels.
So what I have been, so if I wasn't going to get brake buster and foam in there and get the brushes out and clean,
Yep.
what I've been doing is I've been using my lambskin. Do you want to dry that while I talk?
Yeah, sure.
'Cause I can't
just
do both.
You just have a yarn.
So you've pretty
Can't
much done the whole
multitask.
car, which I like. So what I have been doing is that I'd get my lamb's wool mitt,
Yep.
dunk it in the bucket,
Okay.
clean the wheel like
Yep.
I would, dunk it back in the bucket, and that process of pulling all the dirt and stuff to the bottom and clean the wheel like that.
And you do that at the start of the process.
Well, you can do it at the start or at the end. It doesn't really matter.
Doesn't
What
really
I do
matter,
is if
yeah.
I had done it at the start, I would tip that bucket of stuff out, and I'll make a fresh solution.
Okay.
I wouldn't then grab my clean towels and put in there.
In which case, it probably makes sense to do it at the end, because then you're only making one bucket.
Well then, yeah, but that's only if you've got the bucket left of stuff at the end, which you should. I mean, we've got almost a full bucket there.
Yeah, we've used that much of the bucket.
So yeah, it probably does make sense to grab your lamb's wool mitt. You can get your brushes and stuff if you want to do that, and you can wipe in the arches around the wheel wells and stuff, and you can clean them pretty well. You're probably going to struggle to rinse out the barrels and stuff like that, but there's usually enough product there that it sort of runs down the face, and then you just dry it off like you normally would.
Well, I'm pretty happy with that. I think that all in all, that was a really easy process, and result-wise, like, I can't see any difference.
So we have used the new CarPro little measuring cylinder thing, and so you squirt the bottle and the solution comes up into the little cap and it measures it out for you, which is really helpful for measuring 70 mils of stuff. However, that CarPro bottle is a bit sort of debatable.
You're using it as a measuring cup rather than using it with the bottle.
Well, when you squeeze the bottle, you damage the bottle and stuff. So I've just been tipping it in, measuring out how much I need, and then I've been tipping it in. So I think that's how I've been measuring it. That is quite good for that. But I wouldn't say this is like the best measuring cup.
You could use any measuring cup to do what you're doing with that, right? It's got the CarPro.
I think we need to chase some sprayers. I think I want to start with the IK. They have brought out the new IK Foam 2 Plus, which is for foaming the vehicle. So I want to try that with soap. I want to try that with brake buster to foam. I also want to use their new IK Foamer, the IK Sprayer 2, to try the solution and mix and see if that's going to be any good.
Well, it opens up a whole new category as well, right? So a whole range of different products that we haven't been using before, the actual ONR, so the product itself, and then the accessories that go along with it. And
I think the IK sprayers will come multi-purpose, because that means we can then use our CarPro, like IronX, TARX, and that process. So I think that's money well spent, and we need to chase some towels.
Yeah, find the right towel for this process, but we all know you love a good accessory, right? So it'll be a fun hunt.
Well, I pretty much bought one of every Rag Company towel. I reckon most people would pick that up now with dirt on it and keep drying.
See how disappointed I am with that? I was actually about to get some new towels anyway to finish off the door jams, but...
So those towels in there, or those microfibers in there, are towels that haven't necessarily got a purpose in the process, so that's why they're in that bucket.
Yeah, I don't think it was any one of those.
I don't think it was any one of those either.
Okay, so we're agreeing on that.
I think the best one was that big shaggy looking towel, the green and grey looking one.
Yes, yeah, the other one was too...
they're all too...
That one with two colours was too, I don't know, too
not
dense.
right.
Yeah, too not right, yeah.
So we'll keep chasing that. So we've got some things on our list to tick away at, and I'm really excited because this is something new. I think we've got the wash process down quite good.
Yep.
We've had some stuff ups with some soaps. We've flipped back to another good soap. So I think this is something we need to just... I think we're 80% there.
We are, and it's an exciting week too, right? Oof. I think for the...
So I think if you've got this far on the channel...
Yeah.
And this far, this video about talking a whole heap of stuff, I'm not too confident
Well,
about.
I think if you've made it this far, just know to check back in a few days' time, because we're going to have something exciting to share.
Yeah, something real exciting.
We've finally got a little addition to your garage, right? So we'll maybe leave it at that.
Yeah, we can just say we've got the new car coming.
Got the new car coming. So check back later in the week, and we'll share with you what the new addition to the garage is.
Sweet.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, cheers.
See you in the next one.